everyone, and welcome to There's a Workshop for That. Today's guest is someone who lives in the intersection of presence, power, and purpose, Mr. Salvatore Manzi. Salvatore is a speaker, facilitator, and certified coach who spent the last 20 years helping leaders across every kind of industries sharpen their communication, navigate complexity, and lead with impact. He's coached political leaders, including a presidential candidate and two mayors, as far as I know. He guided teams through major transitions and helped founders raise millions. So yes, yes, he is a great guest and we will learn so much about his topic, what it is we're digging into today in something we all do, whether we realize it or not, non-verbal communication. So welcome, Salvatore. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you. It's really a joy to be here. And I love that setup. It's interesting to hear one's bio fed back to him. It also reminds me that, in every room, live or virtual, the loudest messages are often not the ones that are spoken. And that's where I love to dig in and talk about in this episode with you.
I'm so glad that you reach out to me because we never met before. You told me, I think I have things to say. And from our first call, I was totally in what you were talking to me. And I think, yeah, it's just thank you to be here first. And would you mind to tell us a little bit more about yourself, what you are doing, and how did you come to what you are doing today?
Thank you. Yeah, I am a communications coach and I also facilitate and do keynote speaking. My father was a public speaker. He did a conference circuit and I followed in his footsteps somewhat to get up on the big stage, but realized that I'm an introvert and I didn't really crave the spotlight. And moreover, there wasn't really training for introverted people. There was a lot of training for extroverted, how to shape your charisma, how to turn that natural effusiveness into a stage presence. Not so much for introverts. So I took a deep dive into psychology, neuroscience to understand what really lands and makes impact. And then I studied acting and stand up and improv and learned how to use the body in ways to communicate the message, and then took a lot of leadership classes to understand how does one's history, experience, beliefs influence the way that we show up when we do get on stage. And so for the last 20 or so years, I've been helping leaders and their teams to, elevate their communication using communication strategies to create more collaboration, more high performance, better inclusive cultures as well.
So I have a personal question because you have been learning so much. You told me acting and so much things that you have done. And you said at the very beginning that you were, or you are, I don't know if it's still the case, an introvert. So did this journey you made through the learnings change something in how you show up?
Yeah, I think the reason, the drive was to see how to navigate the world as an introvert because we need to communicate, like it or not, we live in a world where our ability to connect and engage and inspire is critical to our individual success. And I want to be clear, I took one acting class just to understand it. Like what actors do, it's next level. I am impressed by all of them. I don't consider myself an actor, but I wanted to understand what are they teaching. So I did take a lot of delivery style training to understand how to better be less afraid with my body, to be more open, to show up with more presence when I am in a place where I can actually own the spotlight. And it is quite fascinating because as an introvert, if I have the spotlight, I can redirect it. I can redirect the spotlight to someone else. Whereas if I don't have the spotlight, I'm at risk at any time of somebody directing the spotlight at me. So it became more comfortable for me to get into a place where I was leading a purposeful engagement rather than being at risk of like having to go with whatever is going. Cause like I never really enjoy networking, like those, like throw me into a pit and like have lighthearted conversations with dozens of people. I'm exhausted. But if I'm in a purposeful engagement, like a facilitated experience, I actually got into team building. That was my first avenue from speaking. I went to team building. I worked for a team building company, going
Mhm.
into organizations and putting on team building. And I learned that, oh, yeah, when there's a purposeful interaction between people and I have an activity, there's way more collaboration and it's way easier for me as an introvert. So, yeah.
Nice. Thank you for the insights. How would you break down what it really means to communicate well? Are there certain core elements that you always come back to, for example?
Yes, I appreciate this question. The vast world of communication is hard to just dive in. So I think of it as being in three separate pillars.
Hmm.
There's delivery. I mean, sorry, there's delivery, there's content, and there's presence.
Hmm.
First of all, I want to break down how is my content landing? And neuroscience and psychology shows us if it's in a specific order, data, then emotion. If there's key elements to the framework of the content, then it's more likely our audience is going to be able to connect with it, engage, remember it. In terms of delivery, there are ways to use the body to augment the message, right? Our voice gives meaning to the words that we're saying, our tone of voice. So we can use our voice both as an engagement tool, but to ensure that we are creating the meaning that we want.
Hmm.
So content, delivery, and finally, presence. And presence is kind of a squishy bucket, but it's really what's driving the whole bus in the sense that all of our whatever's like experiences we've had, whatever education, whatever beliefs we have about ourselves in that particular context is going to drive how we show up. Do we feel resourceful? Do we feel agile? Or are we facing our imposter monster and shutting down? So when I look at communication and I'm coaching somebody, I usually start with a framework. I layer in techniques around delivery, and then we reflect and unpack what's driving and to see what can help to elevate all three of those and create communication strategies around those.
And may I ask, when you are with someone um, who don't have, he has the content, the delivery also, but there's still this lack of confidence to really pose your voice, really articulate the words a certain way, really use your voice. I mean, I'm a singer, I was on stage, so this is something that I assume that came naturally because of that. Do you help the people by giving them like a role play, how to say something? This is something that I asked because this is something that I did in a workshop in
Okay.
Jakarta last year. I was in a team and there were people from different countries from Asia. And the Asian people in certain part of Asia are more introvert than other people. So, and these people were supposed to lead conferences between countries. So when you are with government officials and you need to facilitate something, your voice and how you show up from the first minute is essential. So I made an exercise with them and I would like to know if you are doing the same. I asked them to write like a welcome sentence to the people. And then I pair them and I told them, now you close your arms like this and you say the welcome, like, welcome, we are very happy to see you today, on a monotone tone. So they were all laughing, but it was like with intention that they did that. And then they needed to shift and exaggerate, like, welcome, we are so happy. And then to find their middle tone. So you understand the concept of the exercise. Is this something that you are doing also, or do you have other methods to bring the people to find the right way to communicate?
The right level of authenticity for a person is often outside of their comfort zone.
Mhm.
comfort or our environment tells us that we need to show up, we need to behave a certain way. And I love your technique around delivery, like having them experience the closed versus open
Mhm.
body language and quiet versus loud and monotone versus full vocal variety. That is such a great range for them to be silly and to experience the full range of possibility for them. And in terms of like dealing with the imposter or dealing with that lack of wanting to be seen,
Mhm.
there's other elements. I often will start with getting really clear on what's your purpose. What is driving this? What do you
Mhm.
feel passionate about? Let that bubble up. Let it get clear what is driving this as a way to counterbalance the idea that I don't want to be seen and I don't want anybody to, and I don't want to make a mistake. The second layer is to name the imposter. Like, what is the belief that comes up? I have an imposter. His name is Perry. I call him Perry. Perry the perfectionist. And Perry the perfectionist comes on every time I start to speak. Like, oh, you didn't say that right. Oh, they didn't understand you. Oh, you're not making any sense. Like
Mhm.
Perry's over here. And so by naming Perry and then asking Perry to sit over there while I'm communicating, it helps me untangle from the false narratives that my imposter wants to tell me about myself. So I love you're approaching it through a physicality and the
Yeah.
delivery and technique, which is great. I also layer in the mental focus around what's driving the beliefs that's preventing the full experience. I think there's a bit of both here. I mean, immersion is probably one of the best ways to like break out of one's shell, like you're doing. Keep that
Yeah.
up. I might use that. Okay, let's start like this. Let's go big.
Then I might use yours because you said also something. You start with the content, and I think this is very important because when people have some fears of showing up, they are feared to show themselves. But the people who are in the room are here for the content.
You just named it. It's not about me. I call it the hashtag not about me as
Hmm.
a driving force to overcome that imposter in the sense that when I'm up in front of people and they seem disconnected or they are giving me a kind of sour face, it's not about me. It's about them. And what I'm sharing is not about me. It's about my message. And so if I can connect my message with them, that's gold. The more I focus on that, the less internalizing I'm becoming around like, oh, am I saying it right? And all those things.
Yeah. And we talked a little bit about the body language when I was telling you about the exercise that I was doing. And you, Salvatore Manzi, is an Italian name, right? And Italian people are using their hands to really talk. So,
Right.
how can someone use their body more intentionally when they communicate?
I love that you're bringing up the Italian aspect of it. It's almost like there's a ballet and an orchestra happening at the same time when
Hmm.
I watch Italians on the street communicating. It's just a flow. I had to learn to gesture less and to be intentional about how I'm using my body.
Hmm.
I like to start out with by saying, you may be on mute, your body isn't.
Hmm.
Body is sending more powerful words than the words that you are actually expressing. So I break it into four categories: hands, gestures, anchors, and movement.
Hmm.
When I'm coaching someone to elevate their nonverbal communication, I want to focus on those four areas. First is hands. Weird thing about hands, we like to see them. Humans like to see people's hands. There is a visceral response in our brains when we see someone hand, we know there's not a weapon. We know they're not going to hurt themselves and they're not going to hurt somebody else. So show your hands, whether you're virtual or you're live. You show your hands, everyone. You know, like the whole political, I have nothing to hide. They have a lot to hide. Politicians, they have a lot to hide. But by doing this, there's this natural, visceral calm that, oh, okay, there's their hand. So find a reason to bring your hand in the screen, especially virtually. Like let the audience know or let somebody who's speaking, if I'm facilitating something, I need to let that person who's unpacking something know that I'm really listening. And when my hands are in the frame, it lets them know that, yeah, I'm here. I'm following. I know what's happening. Sometimes I'll grab a pen, so if they see me writing, but
So virtual facilitation, this is exactly what you told me, no? You have to also use your body language. I try also to come up, lay down when someone is talking, and try to even more look. So this is why I use, for example, a prompter so that people have the feeling that I'm looking into the eyes. So right now I'm looking into your eyes, and not looking down. But even if you don't have a prompter, you can sometimes just set your camera so that it is closer to your eyes and that you're looking there and not looking like here in the bottom of your screen, and people have the feeling, oh, she's
there's
not
a
listening to me.
there's a natural disconnect, and we feel it when
Hmm.
people are saying, "Hey, it's really good to see you." And I'm like, "You're not looking at me. What do you mean it's good to see me?" It's an incongruent, right?
Yeah.
And being able to look into the camera virtually when you're speaking is critical. My rule of thumb for a virtual is to look into the camera for the first 10 seconds. The
Hmm.
first 10 seconds that you are speaking. After that first 10 seconds, look around to see where everybody is. The reason why it's 10 seconds, when you start speaking, your box lights up
Hmm.
and everybody's looking for your box. And when they see your box lit up, you want them to feel connected to you immediately. So you want to be looking into the camera for that first 10 seconds. After that, it's okay to look around the screen to see how people are reacting to what you're saying or if you're listening to somebody. But that first 10 seconds is critical. I found it really difficult at first, right? Like looking into a camera, that's not normal. I want to create connection with you. I want to look at your face. But that first 10 seconds is really helpful. What I did is I took a photo of my family at a dinner table and I taped it behind my monitor where the camera is. So it looks like I'm actually looking at my family, and it started to feel a little bit more.
Oh, this is a good trick with the family photo. So I love this one. So these are little things that our listeners can try tomorrow. If someone wants to improve this nonverbal presence, do you have other tips that
Yeah,
people could use, like experimenting their next session in person or session online?
100%. Well, first of all, always try something new. And
Hmm.
every time you get an opportunity to speak, do something that's a little bit outside your comfort zone to learn. Like, oh, how does that feel? And did that work? And what's the feedback I got on that? Well, as I mentioned, hands is number one. Second is gestures. I would recommend that have an intentional gesture. Set out to have one intentional gesture when you are speaking at the beginning. You don't need to choreograph your entire presentation. That's ridiculous. But you know how you're going to start. So have an intentional gesture for the beginning of your conversation. And I would offer move your elbows out from your arm, from your body when you don't want to, it's okay to gesture like this, but there's a lot more power when your elbows are out and you're gesturing. You're using up a little bit more space with
Hmm.
hands, gestures. Third is anchoring. Anchoring is when you locate a topic to a particular place. So past, present, future. We're going to be talking about this podcast in the past and what's led to where it is. We're going to talk about today. We're talking about communications. And then in the future, we're going to talk about how to use this podcast to go into whatever it is. By anchoring my 3 points visually from my audience, they're able to better follow. And this is something I would offer to facilitators, especially when you have 3 core pieces of a facilitation event that you are operating. Stand in 3 places in the room, or if you're virtual, have your hand connote where we are so that your audience is following you. And last, and I'll just close with this, is movement. So we got hands, gestures, anchors, movement. Did you notice what I did? That was a little anchoring right there. Movement, you already brought up, right? Movement
Yeah.
is like, even virtually, we have the opportunity to move around, to
Hmm.
both appear alive, but also to change the emphasis of what we're saying. So I follow the rule, change emphasis, change position. So if I'm talking about like the challenges that we've been facing, but then I want to switch, let's talk about the opportunities that are there as well. That physical changes it's a bit of novelty. It catches the audience's attention, increases engagement. It also helps them feel the significance of the change of emphasis. All of these things can be done intentionally. I imagine a lot of us are doing it unintentionally. When I bring focus to it and do it intentionally, it can create a greater impact for my listeners.
Oh my God, this is gold. You will have a look to my next podcast and I will try everything that you told me. And I'm sure it will change something.
It will be different. I mean, how many times do we get onto a virtual session?
No,
Everybody's
but
in,
it's true. It's so true.
they're all like,
I always try to stay in the middle, but we are not staying in the middle when we are in the room. In the room, I do exactly the contrary. I try to go to the participants, to step back when they have to reflect, to use my hands, and in the virtual realm, we should do it more. I absolutely get it right now.
especially as facilitators, because we're asking people to open up and unpack. And
Yes.
as you said, when they start unpacking, if they're having a moment and I want to give space, I might actually take up less space on the screen. And if I want them to feel me, to really connect with what I'm saying, I might get close. I don't want to stay like this the whole time. It gets creepy. But if you move in and move out, you can create a sense of connection with the group and pull them in. It's also a heightened engagement as well. More
Yeah,
engagement always leads to better collaboration.
absolutely. Absolutely agree. Oh, thank you so much for all this. And I know that you are writing a book that is coming soon. Can you give us a sneak peek what is inside?
Yes, it's called Clear and Compelling. It's
Hmm.
communication strategies for big thinkers with bold ideas. I typically work with a lot of data-driven technical analysts, scientists, and having frameworks, techniques, and communication strategies to show up with greater presence and create more influence or inspiration is it can be challenging when it's all data. So the book really unpacks how to take your data and turn it into an influential, inspirational presentation.
Hmm.
And hopefully it's going to come out in a couple of months. And it is a beast, putting 20 years of communication coaching into one book. It's like, I feel like I'm never getting Perry's over there going like, it's not ready. You got to keep working. I got to get it more perfect. So,
Yeah, I know your Perry is my pole. So
ah,
my pole, it's like always you always need to do yes, but the last thing and the last thing. I have a question because someone asked me to write also something, not a book, but to write something about the way I connect with people because we were talking about our superpower and I guess my superpower has to do with activating people and connect with people. But what I feel is very complicated when you write something is that there are things that you are doing naturally. And when you want to start to write or to teach these things to other people, then you have to think about, yeah, how do I do that actually? And it's so complicated to put it out because it's like if someone would ask me, how do you speak French?
oof.
I never learned to speak French because this is my mother tongue. You know what I mean? So I learned, of course, as I was a kid, but never do I ask myself, how do I pronounce this, and this? So when you start to find out how can I teach someone to speak French, then you have to understand how do you do this, what are the rules and all those things. So you are now writing a book about 20 years of coaching and everything. Is it hard to
Oof.
squeeze everything out?
It's it's so hard, and I love the way you've just described it. It is, I actually moved to Italy and taught English as a
Mhm.
second language, and I learned English for the first time in doing that, learning because it came naturally. I grew up in it, and it's different. The challenge I find in writing the book around communication is that every individual has nuance to what it is that helps them and holds them back around communication. And so finding a way of expressing the widest variety of options without overwhelming someone to try this, try this, try this, try this, try this, try this. Like that's where the complication is. Because I want to put every detail, everything I've seen work and how it worked, but I also want to make it universally applicable for people. So yeah, it's a fun deep dive, and it's I'm having a lot of fun writing it as well.
Okay, so this book will eventually come out in June,
Sure.
maybe a little bit later, but you will keep us informed and we will put, of course, all the information about you, your work, and even if people want to reach out to get some coaching, we will put everything in the show notes. Thank you so much, Salvatore.
Thank you. It's fun to see you, fun to connect with you. I really appreciate it.
And may I connect with you when I want to make a talk on a TED show?
Please. TED Talks are very specific, but yes, I would love to help you with that. I can't wait to hear what your topic is.
This is my dream
Oh,
someday. So I don't think I'm ready for this, but this is something that I would love to do. So now I have someone I can reach out to when I want to prepare about that, right?
definitely. Let's get you on that stage.
Good. Thank you, and see you very soon. And good success, a lot of success with the book.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Bye bye.